Hey guys and gals, friends and fans of Bob's Barn Workshop. Hey, I'm happy to be back here today. I'm sorry it's been such a long time since I posted a video. You know, I've just been busy, man. I got early June, I was tied up with all the stuff I was doing with Mustang. Been going to my cottage regularly. I got the rock and roll thing going for me. The last 2 weeks I've had family in from Florida, so I haven't been able to film anything. So here we are, we're messing with that Volkswagen finally. I am trying to get the thing running in this video. This is just going to be one of a couple, 3 in a row here with the Volkswagen. This one is just basically troubleshooting the running and rebuilding the carburetor and reinstalling it and testing it. And the next couple of videos will be working on the brakes and the master cylinder and finding some problems and solutions. So stick around for this video, and we'll get back to more regular stuff here pretty soon. I've got a lot of projects lined up, some small engine stuff that I would need to get going. The 750 engine from the motorcycle to go on some sort of hell cart. I know I'm getting too old for this stuff, but I just can't help myself. Alright guys, well we'll see you on the next video. After this one, I mean, after this intro. And let's have a good time with it. Alright, we'll see you next time. Woo!
I'll tell you a little story.
Alright guys and gals, here we are back in the barn car workshop side. I didn't show all this because I was meddling around with this Volkswagen this morning, trying to get it running right, turning screws and messing around and checking the timing. The timing is right, but it won't idle. It runs pretty good with the throttle down. And it's been sitting for 3 years here, I admit, my fault. I hosed it off because it was totally covered with dust and sawdust and looked like hell, so I washed it. Just hosed it off, and that made a hell of a difference. So, yeah, I got a little car show in 3 days. And so I think I'm going to pull off the carburetor and go through that first. I bought a kit for it. I think for this model year, it's supposed to be a picked 34-3. I have a rebuild kit that covers everything from a 28, so there you go. She's a great looking little car though, ain't she? I mean, you know, it's a 10-footer. You get up close, you see little dents and dings and stuff, but actually it's a cute little car, so I think it might go good. It's Volkswagen night at the show. I kind of want to take her. It's over in Akron, New York. So if I can get the carburetor working good enough, I can sneak down and get an inspection, and we'll take it to the show. There is a little bit of welding I need to do on the steering area that's a little sketchy, but I think I'm just going to risk getting it passing inspection and so I can drive it. Because ideally, to get to where I got to get to, it's not really that accessible. It's kind of under the middle of the spare tire, under here. I guess I showed it to you years ago, where the front control arm attaches into the steering in the McPherson strut. And of course that's where the whole assembly rotates up and down, and it's the leading edge that holds it in place from folding backwards. So yeah, it's an important part. You can buy the whole frame head. It looks kind of like the head of a hammerhead shark. It comes out from the center, and then it has like a T that comes out towards each wheel. And I don't know if you can see. I haven't looked at this in years. I'm going to lay on the concrete. Yeah, see, it's way up here. And that's rotted out quite bad, but I'm not too worried about it right now because even though it's rusty there, it's attached to this, and nothing seems loose. I don't know if it'll pass inspection. I don't know how close they look at this stuff. They look at the brakes and, you know. So, this part is solid where it's bolted. This part is solid where it's bolted. I'm not worried about it coming apart. I'm going to do a fitzy on this and create a piece that wraps around here and welds. And if the top is bad, we'll redo it. The bolts come through into solid metal though. So, you know what? I'm not worried about it at all for my safety reasons. All right. That's a little more reassuring. Now that I look it over, I was going to put it on the lift so I can take a good look at it. I got to push it around here so I can get it lifted up. And as I said, it's so far forward that pulling the gas tank won't do anything for me. So I've seen guys, to get to that kind of stuff, they'll take and cut a big chunk out of the metal in here so they can get to it from the top and all that kind of stuff, and fix it and then weld the piece back in. Or the most, and I want to do that this winter. Now that I've got it over here in this shop, see, the go-kart's going to go to the other side, the Beetle's going over there, and the Mustang's going to go here. Yeah. All right, let's think about it a bit. So I have let her down a little bit on the lift, but not all the way. So I can see what I'm doing here. Now this guy's the electric choke. He comes off. I can't forget to hook him back up. Over here there's another wire, which is the electric's fuel cutoff solenoid. Alright. That's this line, right? Yeah, okay. The air cleaner right now, I just have them shoved on. Just a little guy, got him out of the way. That's power right off the ignition circuit right there, the electric choke. What else is there? We got to get the vacuum line off. Oops. So that pulled right out of the carburetor. That's swell. I'm going to have to put some RTV or something on that, or some sealant. Let's see what else we got here. We got the fuel line I got to have screw driving for. I probably will re-bleed the brakes if I have time. Now this is one of the better carburetor connections, because some of these carburetor connections for the fuel line are, I got my hands full of wrenches. I got deep pockets, so they are pressed in. And if you wiggle around on them too much, you can pull them right out of the carburetor, and that's been a fuel leak problem with these things. Well, this is actually one of the better ones, so not sure what that guy is for. Is that for that? Stupid tools. Ah, there it comes. Oh, that's a long lead in. Holy crap. Got a lot of barbs on it. We'll just cut that clean off again, and I got slack here. All right. What else is there? There is the throttle cable, which looks like a small knot. That's a 9. I'll bet you it's an 8. Can you see what I'm putting here? Down here, the end of the throttle cable comes through. Boy, that wasn't very tight. And he just backs out. Well, that isn't very solid either. What the hell? I got to figure out what's going on with that. We don't want to lose this screw. And now the worst part of the stupid thing is, I'm not sure. I thought that was a 13, but it might be bigger than that. Oh, it's a 13. The front one's easy. The back one, I might have to remove the distributor cap. Well, as I thought, the nut was coming out with the stud. So I'm going fishing down in here. There it is. All right. Yeah, they've boogered this nut up bad, so it won't even turn a bit. So I'm just going to put that in the vise and see if I can turn it off. So you don't okay, I'm going to rip this thing. Damn it. Rip this thing apart in a hurry here. I have a carb rebuild kit for it. But hey, remember? I bought an ultrasonic. This is the electric choke. I don't think that's an issue. Of course, that's Phillips head. I actually have some JIS screwdrivers here too. I don't know if that's what that is. Japanese Industrial Standard, I think it stands for. This is empty. It could be Japanese, Japanese. Hold on. All right, I've just gotten a little parts bin here. I have to put these in now. That's a diaphragm, so that's probably going to get replaced. Three screws about a ½ inch. We're doing this all at once, so I'm not going to have to remember too much about this. Great, Bob. That's all the stupid screws, idiot. Idiot boy. Well, that definitely don't want to come apart. Well, we'll leave him for now. We're going to pull the top off the float. For these flatheads, I'm not going to put these in the ultrasonic, just the bottom. Oh, well, that was loose. Mounting studs. I need to get a little vice grip or a channel lock. Here's a little Sears self-adjusting threaded screwdriver thing, puller outers. We'll see if these work. Oh, that one was put in with some kind of Loctite. All right. A new base gasket. We will be doing that. pull out the 4 screws with lock washers. Now this is aftermarket, this is an original. Oh, I got more screws. The whole top of this is coming off. I see. I have my accelerator or my return spring here. It looks as though that one is the only other one there. The 5 of these. And they are all the same. And off comes the top. This looks like it was brand new. There's the needle and seat. That gasket, we're going to set that aside just in case we run into issues. That little lock bar holds the float and the pin. I'm just going to test the float in hot water. I'm not going to do anything with that there. So there's a jet down there. I'm having trouble with idling, so let's empty the emulsifier. That hole is tiny, but I think it's all right. This guy just presses in. Accelerator pump. I was pretty sure that was working. That gives you a shot to accelerate, as is obvious. Now we're going to take the 2 That's just a solid brass thingy that does not need to be cleaned. There's no ventures or anything in it. Then I got this little tiny guy down in there, which I can hardly get a screwdriver into. So we're going to take this guy out. The needles I'm not gonna run through either. That was pretty loose. This is the fuel solenoid. this opens up and allows the fuel to run when the power's on. When you turn the key off, it shuts the fuel off. That does not need to be cleaned. I'm going to just run this in the ultrasonic for 15 minutes. I'm going to pull the accelerator pump off here and open that up. That was not very tight either. That uses the 4 stubby screws, remember that. And I would say that was perfectly fine. If we got a new one, we'll use it. We'll put the spare ones aside. I'm not going to take this linkage apart because it's just a cotter pin and stuff. Some of these have a check ball in them. So you have to be really careful. There's a little tiny brass thing that goes in there. And as I said, that also wasn't in there. That spring goes in the accelerator pump. That's full of all sort of orifices though. And kind of looks like it was plugged up. So we'll put that in the cleaner. Here's the float. Needle belt. That's just gravity, see? When that float comes up on the fuel, it pinches it off. So it keeps the float bowl at a certain level. I've got to check my kit. I do not think there is anything. Oh yeah, there is. You've got 3 slotted screws in the thermostat. With nylon spacers even. Okay. This has some sort of vacuum on it for the choke or something. It's kind of sticky. Hell. That's got a little spring that's supposed to turn it, and I'm having a hard time moving it. That guy is too tight. just choking all the time. Why it wouldn't idle. I don't know. It seems kind of sketchy. Let's see the 10, huh? We got the 10 somewhere. There it is. Yeah, that thing ain't where the friction is. The friction's right in here between the plate and those little screws. I'm going to readjust. Or maybe not. Yeah, I can see it rubbing right here. It's rubbing right there. I am going to I could get my Dremel and clean that out a little bit. My die grinder here will be way too aggressive. See if I got any files over here. So to reiterate on this, I don't know if the choke was always open. Right there it sticks really hard all the rest of the way open. So it obviously hasn't been moving on its own, but I can see right on this ridge where it's hitting. So I have Mr. Dremel here. He's an old friend of mine. And I'm going to very carefully whittle a little bit of that ridge away. There we go. Totally free. That's what happens when you buy aftermarket stuff. So now I really do need to clean this guy, but I do have air here. Let's Alright, so now we're going to get ready to throw this in the dishwasher here. Look at that, that thing opens right up. Isn't that funny? From choke to open. Son of a gun. Oh, that does have a diaphragm on it. Where does the air come for this? Through that little nipple. But that's just open to open air, isn't it? Well, if they gave us a new one, we'll replace it. If they didn't, we won't. The throttle is just this little guy. He works good. I need to get that jet out of here. And I'm just going to give them a tonic to loosen it. Again, that's a sealed chamber. You don't need to clean that. There's the main jet. In the bottom here, hard to see. That screw driving won't fit. So let me go get something that will. You know, the $6 Harbor Freight kit that you used to get, and sometimes you got them free, they're really not bad screwdrivers. There's the main jet. That one's perfectly fine. I don't see anything else here I can get apart. You know, there are a lot of little orifices and crap in this. I really should have a you know what I mean? Well, I shot that right off. I didn't see any little BB in here. Did you? I'll throw those guys in just to get them cleaned out. Let's go see what my kit sent me. Well, let's see what they sent us. I see one thing in there is smashed already, the float. So the float is no good, but I think my original is just fine. Yeah, smashed to bits. So that's why I'm opening it into another container. 3 different carburetor gaskets, and that's the right one there. Put these back in here. A couple of base gaskets, thank you. Oh, there's some bigger and a smaller one. I think ours is the bigger one. I think I need that one. Yeah, I can see our base gasket over there. That must be one of those smaller carburetors. There's the base gasket. Old stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to put a couple of things. I'm going to put the bodies in there and let them soak a little bit. These different jets, because we didn't get new jets. And we'll get the thingy with the thingy all set up here, and we'll get that going. Alrighty, here we are. Parts are in the Duflaze. It's just beeping when you put the time in it. Okay. Now it's going to heat for a while. I'm going to let it heat up for a while before I start the ultrasonic action, right? I set it for 65 degrees C. It says it's 30 right now. And then once that gets up to temperature, we'll run it and we'll put it back together, put it back on the car, see what we can do. All right. All right, I've been sitting here for a few minutes. It's only gone up a bit, but I've heard other people say that if you run it, it will heat up faster. So here we go. See if flowers getting dirty. Oh yeah, wow. It's like dust is just blowing out. Making clouds. That's louder because it's just vibrating. All right. So we'll just watch that time lapse. Fast forward. Notice that it's only been running a little over 2 minutes and the temperature has already gone up to 5 degrees centigrade. So that's a good thing. We'll be back. I'm just going to carefully grab these with channel locks or something on places where they don't have any gasket. For nothing. Don't set them on the gate. Yeah, there's a spot right there. I really should take these in the house. I'm going to let them cool off just a little bit, then we'll go rinse them off in the house. Okay, we're going to put the valve adjustment on pause for right now, but we'll be back and we're going to eat soon. All right, let's jump back here on this carb quick. Let's see if I got much air left without turning on zip pump. I got 90 pounds. I'm just gonna there goes the damn gasket. Where's the gasket? Yeah. So, let's put some of this stuff back in here quick. Please. this was the main jet, and I recall nothing underneath it, no gasket. So I'm laying it in the trough there and just working its way in. Come on. Let gravity help straighten it out. There she goes. Snug it up. Let's see. I'm just looking for a little silicone grease here. Put on that O-ring. Sil Glide, it's the good stuff. Here it is. Sil Glide on anything makes it schlippier. I'm going to put the air valve back in and give him just a little smear. Sil Glide. That is an air seal there. Two and a half turns. Half, one, half, two, half. All right. Now, you would think that this would have an O-ring on it. No, that's not the same thing, is it? No. Where did this guy go? This guy goes over here. There's no O-rings on any of these. Seems like that should have an O-ring. But this one's just kind of open to the air. This little guy goes in here, doesn't he? Boy, my memory ain't what it used to be. I guess I'm going to have to look at this. This guy goes on here. I know that big guy goes in there. And this needle valve has to go next to it. Then we're going to put just a smidge of sil on this thing. And this comes out too. One, two. Pretty sure that's what it said. Oh, that's the solenoid. Okay. I was confused. I'm like, what the heck? Is that a 14 or a 13? 13, 12. Sure, that's tight. This guy must have went in the top. With the emulsion tube. I'm just giving them a little snug. All right, I guess I gotta, because I got a little screw here, but I don't know where it goes. I know that one went in there though. Nothing there. Diaphragm and the spring. Where did this little guy go? It's got to be right there. It's the last hole left. We put the new float valve in. Okay, put the new float valve in here. The needle valve and seat is all one unit. Okay. Shall we get that's the accelerator pump. Accelerator pump, we have a new spring for that. Do we need a new spring for that? Do I like the looks of the new accelerator pump over the old one? Let me put the new one in. Maybe not. Okay, he does fit.
the mind is a terrible thing to waste. I think that's yeah. The semi-short ones go in here. This just gives you a good shot of juice when you hit the gas. Don't super tighten them. So you squeeze your gasket out. And we got to deal with the okay, so remember, this is what was hanging up this carburetor. Fool. So this guy got to work in under that guy. You'll notice there's like a notch cut in this, and that lobe has to go inside where that notch is. And on the flange of the gasket, there's a hole right where that little air vent goes. So that's how that one goes. I'm wiggling things around to get it to kind of self-center. You're so self-centered. A good bite with that screwdriver, so I'm just putting these three. And that was a little tricky, but there's a little diaphragm in there. Okay, there's a notch there and there's a notch here. So it fits right in there just like that. Make sure that I'm inside that. I am. And then pull that up about even. I really don't have any idea how tight it should be. Oh well. Hey Mom, how do you do carburetor? I don't know, I'm just freaking out as I go along. Hey, did you forget the XYZ? Oh, I could have. Where does it go? I don't know. So anyway, again, I'm holding them under the center of the triangular corner with my fingertips. Seem to work pretty good. Just enough to hold it closed, I guess, for now. We're going to drive this car mostly in the summer, like always in the summer. So we're not going to need much choke. But see how nice that flap works now? It was jamming and it would not open. So this thing was choking itself to death. All right. Jet's in the bottom. This float looks fine. Okay, yeah, that comes up there. So this little guy just drops in there, like that, with the rod through it. And then there's this little curvy thing that curves away from the float when you put it in. I remember that. That's got to be the thing of the thing. It's saying it's 9 o'clock. It looks like it's the right one. I gotta pull the throttle open. There we go. Keep that dog out of my way. So, you know, I'm no expert on this, so don't do it like I did it. I'm just making it up as I go along, boys. I'm trying really hard to center the holes in the gasket and the holes, screw holes, as we go. Try to get my best alignment possible. Looks good. I've been known to put oil on gaskets like this. You know, they look kind of porous. And I don't think you want to super reef down any of these. You want to just bring them down evenly and just compress your gasket gently. So I need to put the solenoid back in. I do not know the actual size of those threads. I should tell you, but I'm just tightening it in because I don't think that's not a fuel junction. That's it. There's a vacuum cap that has to go on here. And it was loose, so I'm gonna put it with the hinges, Bob. I'm gonna see if I can find a tight one. That was pretty good. Well, it's super tight, but I don't, not too tight because it'll split. But the other one came right off easy. All right, the rebuild is done. I need to put the thing for the throttle is here. There's the return spring. Goes right there. So when you go zoom, 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 gives you a lot of throttle to keep it. Then as it backs off, it drops down to where it should be, as you get a little goosey-goosey. I'm going to try to clean these threads up a little bit for the stud. Try to put the easiest one to screw on in the back, because I'm going to be back there with my fingertips. See, that is a friction nut, is what that is. We're all a pain in the ass. All right, I'm gonna clean this. I don't know when you went out, but I got the carburetor all in. And we're just gonna try to see if we can, and now it's gonna take a little cranking. I wanna look at this choke. There's no fuel in the carburetor. There's fuel in the fuel pump though. So she should crank up pretty quick. I'm not going to test anything, but look at that. I'm going to put you over here. And we're going to look down in there. See if that choke plate opens up. Here, let's put the lots right up here. I can't see chit though. You can't see it. I don't want you to be too close if it backfires or something. But I'll be able to see it. carburetor seems to be fixed. She idles. She wouldn't idle before I fixed it. So, I'm done for today. It's going on 9 o'clock at night. So we will catch up with you guys tomorrow. And I have a couple other things I want to do. I had the valve cover off to do the valve clearances. They have to be cold to do that. But we had a vacuum leak here. Lots of things. But I tried to seal everything up. And with that choke problem, it opened up. We might need to adjust it a little bit. All right, guys. That's it. She's running like a champ.